Hi guys, it's Chloe and we're doing something super sweet today, even though there's no sugar in there because it's for dogs. I was inspired by my neighbor's dog to make healthy little dog treats for him. So I want to share with you guys how I'm gonna make them. It's actually super easy. I think it's only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients, including water. So it's something that I think anyone could do. The baking time is also really easy. So let's see what happens. I'm really excited, and of course we're gonna make healthy treats for the dogs, like, of course. So the ingredients are any type of pumpkin puree. You can buy all of these at the grocery store. I did this one. And then peanut butter, just make sure it's raw peanut butter, no sugars or salts, just because it is for dogs, we don't need extra stuff. And then I'm using wheat flour today. There are other options like oat flour if your dog is a little sensitive to wheat. And then we're gonna do 1 egg and then I think about a cup of water. So we have obviously a mixing bowl with a spatula, a baking sheet that we're gonna put the dog treats on to bake, some measuring cups, and these really cute bone-shaped cookie cutters. So we'll see how it goes, and I'm really excited, and I can't wait to get home and see how my neighbor dog feels about them. Okay guys, so first things first, I would like to preheat the oven just because it does take a little bit. So while we're making the treats, it can get all nice and warmed up. The oven has to be at 350 degrees, so let's do that. All right, so let's get started with our ingredients. We are gonna do flour first, and we need about a cup of flour, whatever flour you're choosing to use. Like I said, I'm using wheat flour just because it's pretty good flour for dog treats. All right, so we'll get a cup of that, get it in the bowl. Okay, so now half of a cup of peanut butter. I use this unsalted peanut butter that I just got at a grocery store. I'm pretty sure they actually make it to order, so it is. Ooh, all right. You already know all the dogs that we're giving this to love peanut butter. I think all dogs love peanut butter, so I'm really excited to see how my friends and neighbors' dogs feel about it. Next, we need a 1/4 cup of pumpkin puree. You can use any brand, but just regular pumpkin puree. Try to do no sugars added and minimal spices if possible, just because dogs don't really need spices, and I don't think it's that great for them. So I'm using Libby's, and let's do that. All right, so a 1/4 cup. Let's do that. I know pumpkin puree is also really good for dogs in general. Any type of sweet potato puree. Maybe you can even make your own if you like. All right, and the last ingredient is just 1 egg. So let's mix it up. It should be kind of loose dough consistency. You want to be able to, roll it out and cut it with some type of cookie cutter or a knife. So it has to have that like firm consistency, but not be too hard, because then I think they would bake a little too hard. Mine is kind of solid, so I'm gonna go ahead and add some water to kind of loosen it up a little bit. That I would go kind of slow, maybe just about a tablespoon at a time, and see how much you need as you go. All right, so I think I have it a good consistency. It should look something like this, where it's still pretty hard, and I'm gonna be able to roll it out and cut it into shapes. If you would like to, you can make it a little thinner, but we'll see what happens. Right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of the flour that we have on the surface and just roll it out straight on the counter. Right, so I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I do not have a rolling pin. That's on me, but we'll just try to kind of just squish it down with our fingers, try to make it as even as possible, and see what happens. Make sure to put a little bit of flour on your hands too, just so it doesn't stick too much, and then on top, and kind of just This is kind of fun. I'm so excited. I'm just thinking about all my friends' dogs that get to try this. This is also kind of fun. You could do this with your dog. Just have your dog in the kitchen, maybe let him test some of the ingredients. And it's so simple, just to make it with all the ingredients you might have already at your house. Oh, there goes the oven. Perfect timing. All right, so I made it about maybe half an inch or maybe even a third of an inch thick. Try to make it as even as possible. I would use a rolling pin if you have one. And make it a little concise. Okay, so now I'm gonna use the cookie cutters and cut little shapes into it and see what happens. All right, so I have dog bone cookie cutters. There are a lot of sizes, but I'm gonna try to do sizes that are similar just so the baking time is about the same. I would suggest to do that. Do a little more on top, and let's see what happens. Oh my gosh. Stop, these are so cute. So excited. All right, let's do that a few times. I'm gonna do a big one too. All right, so next I do have a baking sheet with parchment paper. I don't believe that you need oil for this, or you don't need to oil your parchment paper, just because they are gonna be hard and they're gonna just pop right off. But take each cookie and put it on the sheet. Do space them out a little bit, even though they're not gonna, you know, get too big, but do give them room to bake. All right guys, so we do have some dough left still, so kind of just repeat the process until you're done with all of the dough, and you have a perfect amount of cookies. And also, we know all dogs are good boys and girls, so they deserve unlimited treats. All right guys, so keep going until you're fully done with all the cookies, and then I'm gonna stick it in the oven for about 15 minutes. Do make sure to check every few minutes to make sure they don't burn, and then I'll be back once they're done. All right guys, welcome back. They're finally done and I'm really excited. I'm like excited as if I'm about to eat cookies or something. You can eat these because there are whole ingredients, but obviously they're not gonna be too tasty because they're for dogs. But look how cute. Look at these little bones. Really excited. I do have a few different sizes like you guys saw before. So what they look like on the side. I'm gonna break one open for you guys. Ooh. I hope you guys make these and let's talk soon. Bye.